Hey there, back once again with another Synesthesia tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to create an automated live show. This works great for your live stream or performance and can be done with a Synesthesia standard license. Let's begin. First thing we need for our show is a playlist to house all of our scenes. So let's go ahead into the playlist editor and let's create a new playlist. Name it anything you'd like. From here, we want to make sure that our timer is set to a reasonable default. This is the amount of time that's going to elapse between each scene. I think a minute is maybe the most we want to go. We're really looking for a variance in this time because we want to create a more organic feel, not just one scene changing every minute. So we will change this down the road, but I think it's important to have a good default for the time being. Now that we have our playlist set up, let's go to the library and start picking out some scenes. We're going to be creating multiple presets for each scene, so it's important to remember that some scenes will work better than others. I'm going to start with hex array. Let's go to our controls and let's start making some presets. We're going to build our presets one off of another. It's important to remember that in our playlist, the same scene will be inserted multiple times and will transition between the different presets based on time and the audio transitions. So usually it works best if you start with one preset and then use that as the base for the next one. Now, let's go ahead and create more presets. Once we've built all our presets, let's go ahead and start building our playlist. There's a few ways we can do it. We can either go into our library and pick out the individual scenes that we created presets for, and if we hover over this plus button, we'll get a drop down showing us all our presets. And from here we can add in the order that we created them, or we can go to our playlist panel and go into our editor, and that will allow us to select presets from the current scene. Definitely remember to add them in the order that you made them, since they are built off of each other. Let's go ahead and build the rest of our playlist. Now that we have our playlist built, let's start manually editing some of our timers. It's important to remember that all of these timers combined for one scene is the max amount of time it will be on screen, so we don't want to let it go for too long. For me, about 2 minutes is the max amount of time I'd want a visual on screen before it starts getting a little dull. So let's start editing these just to have a little bit of variation. It's also good to remember that adding some variation will give the playlist a more organic feel instead of just being on a timer. Because these presets will transition to one another, once we start the timer, it'll feel like they're jumping to the music. Once we've edited all our timers, our work is pretty much done. We can exit the playlist editor and let's hit play on our playlist. We want to make sure the audio transition button is enabled, as this will add audio reactivity to as well as our timers to the transitions. With these two combined, we have a very audio reactive live show.